Now a look at tonight's top stories. Residents in Marysville are fighting to keep the lights on. The Business Improvement District, Chamber of Commerce, and Gold Country Bank launched a fundraiser this morning to keep the city's street lights on. The city is planning to turn off about half the lights in an effort to close a $700,000 budget deficit. Every $100 the group raises will save one street light. Donations can be made at any Gold Country Bank location.
A pickup truck today smashed through a fence and into a power pole in Tehama County, killing one man. It happened just before noon on Rancho Tehama Road near Gallatin. The driver lost control of his pickup, veered off the road, regained control for a short time, but went off the road again. He was not wearing a seatbelt and was thrown from the vehicle. His identity has not been released until family members can be notified.
A marijuana advocacy group in Chico has been working closely with city officials, helping draft an ordinance to allow medical marijuana dispensaries to legally open up shop in Chico. The ordinance would prohibit dispensaries from opening without applying for a permit first. The proposal will be discussed by the City Planning Commission in early August and could be applied as early as October.
Shasta County Sheriff is getting some national recognition.
A recent front page article in the Wall Street Journal detailed how he's spending money to hit marijuana growers where it hurts.
Action News reporter Elizabeth Gadley spoke with Sheriff Tom Bosanko about his tactics and why he says pulling up pot gardens is important even with an initiative that could legalize the drug.
Even in these cash-strapped times, Shasta County Sheriff Tom Bosanko is sparing no expense to nip ever-growing marijuana gardens in the bud.
Last year, Shasta County was number 2 in the nation with approximately 640,000 plants that were eradicated.
The trick is he uses federal anti-drug funds to keep his marijuana eradication team fighting. The department is eligible for roughly $500,000 a year to combat the pot problem.
It helps us do this one part, and it doesn't pull from the full-time officers that are working, say, routine patrol or investigations. These are supplemental funds.
According to the sheriff, the fight is about far more than just marijuana. It's about curbing the crime and destruction that go along with the grows.
These individuals are often well-financed, well-organized, and well-armed. And in addition to posing a safety threat, not only to the officers, but to anybody using our natural resources and our lands here, such as U.S. Forest Service lands, they also have a huge environmental impact.
Even though some say the war on drugs is a losing battle, marijuana eradication team member Sheila Ashmore believes it would be a mistake to let these criminal operations go unchecked.
These marijuana growers are not ignorant. They are not uneducated. They know that we are out there in force, and if they truly believed that we weren't out there trying to find them and put them in jail and eradicate their plants, they would be even more brazen than they are today.
In Redding, I'm Elizabeth Gadley, Action News.
When asked about the ballot initiative to legalize marijuana in California, Bosanko said if it does pass, his department would have to reevaluate this situation.
Well, speaking of that, a new poll finds California voters split on Proposition 19, which would allow adults to grow and use marijuana for recreational use. The new field poll finds 48% oppose the measure, while 44% support it, with the poll's margin of error that puts the results nearly neck and neck. However, field polls director says historically, measures that don't start out with a poll lead usually fail.
The city of Oakland is calm today after sporadic violence brought on by hundreds of protesters overnight. The worst of the fallout from the trial of a white police officer who killed an unarmed black man appears to be over. And today, the police officer himself spoke out in a message to the public. Gina Kim has the story.
Downtown Oakland picked up the pieces and cautiously resumed business as usual today, following a tense and tumultuous 24 hours.
This has been declared an unlawful assembly.
Last night, hundreds of demonstrators clashed with police and vandalized businesses after hearing the verdict in the trial of Johannes Mezerli. The former transit police officer was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter for shooting Oscar Grant in the back on New Year's Day 2009. Grant's family and supporters said the punishment was not enough.
My son was murdered, and the law has not held the officer accountable.
In a letter released today for the first time, Mezerli apologized to the family, saying, "I have and will continue to live every day of my life knowing that Mr. Grant should not have been shot." Oakland saw days of rioting when the shooting first happened, so this time an army of police kept the damage to a minimum.
Police here will remain on high alert for the remainder of the weekend, but they believe that the worst of it is over.
Last night we demonstrated that we could take action that is consistent with moving forward.
After holding their collective breaths for what seemed like months, some business owners in Oakland say they're glad it's over, but not exactly satisfied.
We have to go on. That's all we can do, just go on and trust in God and hope that somewhere down the road justice will be served.
Gina Kim, NBC News, Oakland, California.
About 80 people were arrested last night, and police estimate more than 75% of them had come from outside of Oakland. Meanwhile, the FBI and the Federal Justice Department have announced that they, too, are looking into whether Messerly should be prosecuted for civil rights violations.
Back here in the North State, Glenn County Sheriff's deputies are investigating a recent burglary at the Thunder Hill Raceway. Raceway officials say 3 laptop computers and cash were taken from an office at the track. The amount of money was not disclosed, but officials say the money was in a bank deposit bag. Now, this incident is the latest in a series of commercial burglaries to hit Glenn County in the last few weeks. If you have information, call the Glenn County Sheriff's Office.
Americans spend more than $23 billion on organic products every year, but the California Organic Program says it's an industry that's poorly regulated. As Action News reporter Audrey Asistio explains, the program is considering new rules to help weed out imposters from the honest farmers.
My personal thing is I get to know my farmer, so that's the best way if you're going to tell if they're growing organically or not, is to know your farmer.
Chico resident Ron Topi has worked for a Natural Foods Cooperative for 4 years now. He lives on an organic farm and only eats organic food, so he knows all there is to know about the goods, including spotting the real from the fake.
As far as, these, what you might consider imposters out there that are at farmers markets, that these farmers markets tend to draw people in under the illusion, whether it's advertised or not, that you're getting fresh, local, organic produce at these markets, and not all of them grow organic. They don't have to say whether they're growing organic or not.
Produce in a number of farmers markets is being sold as organic when it's not. It's a problem nationwide, but especially here in California. That's why the California Organic Program is considering new rules to help officials monitor the more than 2,800 organic farms and ranches in the state. The new rules would allow the state to establish an inspection program that would make sure all produce labeled as organic are in fact authentic. The goal is to get rid of the imposters so consumers can get what they pay for. Topi says the best way organic enthusiasts can protect themselves from imposters is to know their material.
I think educating people on simply knowing what to look for, the questions to ask, and form a relationship with your farmer.
In Chico, Audrey Asistio for Action News.
Organic farms and ranches in California bring in more than $1 billion every year.
A new talk radio show hits Redding's airwaves. Biz Talk profiles 2 local businesses a week in an hour-long show. Host Joel Smith says his hour-long show looks at what goods and services each business offers. It also gives owners a chance to talk about the ways their businesses help the community. Biz Talk has been on the air for a month.
All the feedback we've gotten has been really positive so far. There's a lot of excitement about the show, a lot of excitement from different businesses to be on the show, and there's just a good positive feeling that people are getting that something's happening.
Biz Talk is live on KQMS every Saturday at 7 in the morning.
If you're thinking of investing some money but aren't sure where to start, we have some important tips for you.